Hi there, and thanks for watching. I am going to show you how to take my garrison model and put a food court inside of it. So this is the garrison model inspired by World of Warcraft. It is found in specifically Elwyn Forest and just about every other zone. There's at least one version of it. For starters, we're going to use a different navigation tool. If you hit T, you see how right now it's navigating around the center point or the mouse. We want to be able to look around a little differently. So if you hit T, the middle mouse and looking around becomes more like you are standing here looking around. Makes it easier once you get into corridors to move. So let's go in here. You can see that you can walk inside of this. It's got rooms to each tower. And then over here we've got a couple tables and stairwell going up. Stairwell is blocked off because this model is designed for only the bottom floor. It's 2,000 objects, and because of that, all I had room to really get detailed was the bottom floor. As you can see, I've used rail cars for the roof, the wooden roof here you see. Some of this stuff is here, like these lights, because when you are down here, seeing those lights up there looks kind of nice. So anyway, so as I said, the bottom floor is the only floor usable. As you go in here, you see you've got the other two rooms. And there's also a door here that leads to the cellar. In the original World of Warcraft model, this leads downstairs to a sub room, cellar, like I said. So this by itself, this model works pretty well. It looks it's nice. It's kind of larger, but totally cool. Anyway, now what you want to do though is if you are here, you're probably wanting to make it a food court, which is what I've designed here. And this is a second piece that goes on in this building. You just have to line them up. So it's basically a part two. And let's go to nighttime here so we can see what it looks like. Switch to AM. There we go. And so I've thrown on a bunch of lights, little yellow and gold, to sort of indicate that it's an alliance building, the alliance colors. And the sides and the back I didn't spend quite as much time on because I felt that the front was probably the more important part, and if you want, you can always do what you want with it once you download it. So we go inside here to see what we'll be doing. We've got some swords I threw onto this second part, the sign. We've got lots of food signs, the guard here, and we've got a couple of drink shops and a couple of food shops, as well as some posters and stuff. Again, once you download it, you can do what you want. Replace these with something else easily. And so we've got an ATM here as well, and instead of the cellar door, we've got restrooms, so it leads down into the bathrooms. So let's get started. I'll show you how to make this work in your model, because the paths won't automatically load because they don't save in a blueprint. So we want to add paths to it, and then we can add the secondary. We can add the two pieces together. So let's start out here. We've got a nice blank slate, a little bit rough though, so we need to smoothen that out. And I found that using the flatten the foundation tool works, so does flatten the surface. Now, one thing I did notice is that it seems to me like maybe just a smidge down from the actual path works. So let's make the size a little bit larger, and the intensity is really low because I don't want to go down too much. But I just want to push down a little bit right here. And we're going to use this part here that I just pushed down as the new foundation. Make it nice and large, and the intensity kind of heavy so that it pushes all of this down nice and flat. We're going to do that to the whole area that we plan to put the garrison. So now that we've got a nice footprint here, we can start putting pieces down. So the first thing you want to do, go to blueprints and grab the garrison. Now before you do that, get down here kind of close to the ground, not too close, but kind of across the path here. And you're going to grab it. It's going to populate and really make a mess here. That's fine. So move it away until you can see this piece here in the center, this castle piece. This piece is going to use to be the piece that we use to line them up together and to the path. So while it's still in movement mode, hit shift, hold it down, and you can push down until you get to right about there. You don't want to go all the way to the bottom, but right here. Let go, and it still lets you move around, but now it locks it in place. You want to bring that as close to the path as possible. Now, if for some reason you just can't seem to get it to line up appropriately, you can move your camera angle. You can also, that looks pretty good right there, but something you can also do while it's still floating is hit X. Get it kind of close. Hit X, and then it gives you your gizmo tools, and you can use those a little more accurately. So there we've lined it up to the path, and hit check mark. That locks this model in place. Now, for the pathing. So we want to go down here to paths. Make sure it's on 4 meters. Length is 1. Go over here to advanced settings. You can check the first one if you want, not necessary, but make sure all of these are unchecked so we don't have any weird railing. And see if because they may not look as aesthetic as you might like. You can always make that choice later. So we've got the paths to go here. So what we need to do is these blue pieces here were placed in the model so that you had a place to start. Choose the type of path you want. You can I would choose either these bricks or the cobblestone. So I'm going to use cobblestone. We're going to select a grid, and any one of these upper blue pieces is fine. So it's going to pull the grid from the piece. So let's click the first one to activate it, and then click one more time to start the path, and then just start clicking away. Click, 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 clickbait. Ooh, ha ha. Oh, I'm not connected there. There we go. And 2 more, and we are all connected. Yep. Now we're going to deselect the grid, and we're going to reselect a new grid, which is this bottom one down here. So once again, select the grid, pull it from this piece, start it, and then just click each of these 6 pieces, and deselect the grid again. Now while we're here and we've got this going, let's go ahead and put this runway here down. Going to want to move it to 6 meters, like such. Get it lined up in between the lights, and it should just connect on the second shot, and boom, it's connected. Drop this back down to 4 because you'll need it at 4. And now we're going to delete all of these blue pieces to get them out of our way. So let's take off the pathing tool, and let's click the model, left click, and you can either hit this button here or hit R as it says, and that will get you into the model. So I'm going to hit R, and now I can start selecting these pieces. Let's start with this first one, and to delete them you can either hit the bulldozer, hit the delete key on your keyboard, or right click. Right click's nice and quick, so just right click, right click, right click. And if you accidentally click one off, you can hit undo, Control Z, and it'll put it back for you, so don't have to worry too much. So just get rid of all of these blue pieces. They were just there to line up the path. And now we're going to link these paths together to make it all work out. So let's go back to the path tool here. We're still on 4 meters, that's good. And so you'll see once you put your cursor over it, it'll automatically build a ramp there. So let's just click it, and this side, click it. And I have found that it will make stairs more often if you do that first step and lower the terrain just a smidge. If you have it level with this path, you'll get ramps here, or you'll get kind of a half and half ramp and stair, but lowering it just a little bit gives you a full stair. Now, okay, so the next thing we need to do is connect our shops. So once again, just kind of push it right at the edge. When the edge of the curve disappears and becomes straight, you're connected. Left click it and get it going. Do that to all 4 shops. So you've done it to the ATM and all 4 shops. Now before we do it to the restroom, right now it's trying to go down to the ground level. If the ground level is too high, people will walk through it, and that doesn't look right. So let's go back to our terrain tools. You could have done this earlier when we first set it down. That is way too big, so let's lower the size down a bit, down to about 4 or 5 meters. Intensity as well, we don't want it too strong, and we're going to make sure it's on push. We're just going to push this down a little bit. We're going to try, let's see. Apparently I'm not doing something right here. Oh, I did plant the foundation instead of push. There we go. So there we go. And basically you want to get it so that this path will line up to the bottom of this threshold here, and that will allow it to be a proper stairway, and the people won't walk through. And none of this will be visible because it'll be behind the castle walls, so you don't have to worry about going too far down. That's not a big deal. So here we go, and let's go back to paths. Once we get it lined up, it'll automatically put a stairway there. Left click it, and voila, looks good. So Next step now is to put in the garrison itself. I think we've gotten all the paths connect. Yep, we've got the restroom connect, ATM. Awesome. Okay, it's all ready to roll. So this is going to be a little weird at first because it populates this whole huge garrison. So just kind of be ready for that thing to pop in there when we go to your blueprints. Let's grab the garrison. And there we go. Kind of like the other one, it sort of throws it out in front of you, and then it moves really fast when you move the mouse. So same thing before, you can hit X once you get it close. And, whoops, I didn't hit X, but that's okay. I put it in place too high. Left click it and hit X to get our navigation tools. What we're going to want to do is we want this piece right here at the bottom of this gray brick piece, the floor, to be just above this. So we're going to lower it just until it disappears and then raise it back up one notch. So let's go down. Oh, there it was. So let's raise it one notch right there. And then we're going to use the blue one to line it up with that gray piece. So once again, we're trying to make these corners match right here. And they're pretty close. They're getting pretty close. So let's use the red piece. I like to go away first and then back to kind of line it up. And there we go. And let's use that blue one more time to kind of try to get it. Wow, that's good. That should be close enough. It doesn't have to be precise, but really close is perfect. So, and we are, well, maybe I made this just a little too. It needs to come up just a notch, maybe. That was because of that unlevel ground that we used. So we're going to go up and down. There we go. I like that better. It's nice and even. So we're going to lock it in place. You can see here that this corner is nice and tight. This is above the ground about, just a few inches. This is just enough to cover the cobblestone. That way when they walk on it, it should look like they're walking on this instead of through that. Now that everything is set in place, we are going to activate the people and see what they do here. So let's unpause it. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. There we go. Got people going in. Now something that you will find is that these people like to walk through. Oops, I got it on the wrong navigation. They like to walk through the stairs right here. Oh, we also need to get rid of these guys. Completely space that. So let's select the model, this big model. Just left click the wall, hit R again to get into it, and we need to get rid of these guys. Just click it, left click, and then right click to delete. Right click to delete, and so on. And then we want to get rid of this path here, so you can just steal it from here. Click it and hit Control D or duplicate, just like it says here. Put it in place. Put that one in place, and then I like to right click to clear it so I don't keep stacking pieces on top. Looks like we went just a little bit high. They're kind of walking through, but it's a little trial and error, and that's probably because I lowered the terrain a little bit to make those stairs work. So, oh, and then what else we need to do? My bad. We need to get rid of this door here because even though the bathroom's there and they're using it, it doesn't look very right. So we just left click and delete, and boom, we've got bathrooms, or outhouses rather. They just don't understand how to use these though. Oh well, silly Sims. Alright, cool. So I think everything is set. Let's just double check it. We'll throw up the lights. Oh, we got all the lights on there. Thank you, sirs, for letting us by. And they can use the restrooms and the restaurants and the ATM because all this is activated. Now, something that I have found is that they like to walk across here. They don't realize that there is a barrier. Maybe a little bit kind of like what they did there. Sometimes what you can do is you can put garbage cans down, and that will help a little bit. Let's use the barrels because we're in a castle. So we'll put the barrel right here. Aha! Aha! Made you guys walk around. And then let's put this anywhere that there's not a lot of people walking, just so they don't throw stuff. Let's see, they line up on the left side, so let's put the barrel on the right. Same thing over here. They line up, let's see, where do they line up? They line up kind of right in the middle, don't they? Let's put it in this corner. And same thing over here. Looks like they line up on the left side, so we'll put it here. Great. And one last thing that I like to show is that here you can put a bench on this picnic table right here, and they'll actually come and sit down on that bench, and it kind of looks like they're sitting at the picnic table, which is kind of fun. Come on, sit, sit. Show my people. Show my people. Sit down, sit down, sit down. Ah, yes. Inception. There she goes. And so she's sitting at it kind of like she's sitting at the table. Something I found out. What did you guys just do? So this isn't perfect right here where they walk across the wall, but it's pretty close. I'm sure there's a way around it, but I'm still new to the game and figuring that out. So I hope you enjoyed this. As well, you could grab one of my other WoW models here that I've made so far to go along with it. I have the tower and the Goldshire Inn and a couple of cottages, outhouse, and a ballista. And since we have a garrison, we should have a ballista. So let's do that real quick. Let's see, blueprints, ballista, and X to raise it up. Sink into the ground a little bit. It's kind of heavy, so we'll have to do that. X again to rotate it, and there we go. Got a ballista. Looks good. Another thing you can do to add a little bit of realism, or maybe just look nice. Here we're gonna go paint. So if you look at the terrain here, you can kind of think about what might look good there. And this is sort of just regular dirt. This is really bumpy dirt. So regular dirt would be good, probably right under the edge of the tower. I'm gonna size it down just a hair, maybe intensity up just a little, and just around the edge, you can kind of throw some dirt to sort of make it look like it's maybe worn, or the vegetation doesn't grow as good. Probably from the backup of the outhouse, I don't know, such. And then if you'll notice here, we've got a tree, and trees have leaves, so at some point in the year it probably drops some leaves, so we can throw some leaves out here. And then if that was too many, just kind of green grass, fade it back in. Or maybe the dog poops a lot back here, so it's nice and green and lush. I want to do that. Throw it nice and green, and then put some leaves back on top of it. There we go. It's fertile, very fertile. And so stuff like that. And then another thing you can do, maybe you want to put something over here, but you want to make it look like a path that people walk that way, but it's not really a building that's used in your park by people. So think about which dirt you want to use. Maybe this one, or this one's kind of a dried grass look. Let's make it a little smaller. Maybe lower the intensity just a hair. And let's say our object is here, so we draw a path where people have walked on it, and maybe more so in the beginning because they decided this is the way I'm going to walk, and then as they got there it sort of faded out. But most people don't walk this way and then back. If they see something here, they're going to walk and cut across to the path. So you kind of need to do it both ways a little bit, sort of like this, and then the path would go to whatever object it is you put back here. So a couple things to sort of add to your building. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it was informative. Good luck using this in your park. Thanks.